Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Elise Parker, and I have been documenting my personal growth journey here on YouTube for the last 8 years. So this video is going to be more of a life update where I'm going to be sharing a little bit, actually a lot of it, about the identity crisis site type of thing, sort of thing, that I have been navigating these past few years and the ins and outs of all of that. Maybe you can relate to some of it or a lot of it. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first off, there's an identity crisis, but this is something I've actually been experiencing ongoing for the last few years. And I think there's a few reasons for this. Number one, I'm growing up. I was a young adult emerging into the world, and I have been maturing a lot. I have been deepening and grounding into more of my true self, and all these different layers have been coming off. I've been on a journey of healing and awakening and expanding beyond the survival patterns that I was operating in for the majority of my life. And then there's also the fact that humanity's consciousness is evolving. And what I notice is that there's actually a massive collective theme right now where I'm not the only one who is going through this awakening or this crisis, this change, this transformation with identity and sense of self, but this is actually very widespread. So we're all going through this metamorphosis in our own unique way and our own timing, but there's definitely a wave that I'm noticing happening where it's beyond my own individual experience, and this is a whole situation. So in the past, my identity and personality felt much more one-dimensional. It felt more fixed and set with where it was and how I saw myself and how I portrayed myself to the world, especially on social media. It was very much like I would refer to it as a character. And I was that character online, offline. It was a thing, almost like you could package it up and reference it. Like, this is who Elise is and this is who Elise isn't. And that is something that has immensely been changing. I think before there was limitations that I held myself in, that society held me in, that I just learned how to be in from my upbringing. Based on what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong, like never express anger, never show up in this way, don't be too loud or too intense. And man, that is changing so much. So there were a few signs that allowed me to see, oh, this is really happening. I am in an identity crisis. Like, things are changing and shifting. One of the biggest signs was that I started to feel challenged and awkward and confused in relating to other people in relational dynamics. And this was not how I was before. Like, I never really experienced social anxiety. I'm not who I was, and I don't know exactly who I am now because I'm all of it. I'm everything. And how do I engage in life from that place, from this metamorphosis, from, something I referred to years ago on Instagram was the goop season. It's like when you're going into your cocoon and you're in this in-between of like, you're not what you were, but you're not really what you are on the other side either. That really illuminated like, wow, something is happening. There are big shifts happening within me and the way that I am relating to myself and others and life. And, our relationships are such mirrors for us. So anytime that I was interacting with others, that was very clearly reflected back to me of, wow, things are changing. I'm not who I was. And it was especially weird when I was interacting with people who were really holding the view of who I was. That got a little interesting. Basically, there was just this awkward stage of relating to people who were still viewing me in that past fixed identity. Because I'm like, I'm not this anymore. I am, and I'm all these other qualities too. So with this, a big thing over the last few years is that I have very much withdrawn. It was more of a cocoon season, more isolated, more in introspection and reflection, being in my own space and energy, not as much socialization, not very much outward energy, but really like this sort of motion. And that was needed. It's been a very important part of this process. But with that, I think I also stopped doing things that used to bring me joy. I stopped spending as much time out in the world, again, not with friends, not doing as much. What brings me joy now? What certain passions do I have? What am I excited about? What lights me up? What things am I interested in learning about? What hobbies am I interested in exploring? And, you know, a big part of my past identity, my fixed identity, was very much work focused, very much productivity focused, and really like all of my hobbies and passions and creative pursuits were linked with my business and making income, which was amazing and is amazing to have that skill set. That's something that I intentionally developed years and years ago to be able to get curious about how can I make money from the things that light me up, that I'm good at, that I'm passionate about. That is such an incredible entrepreneurial mindset to have. And I get to keep all of that gift, that skill, that ability. And I'm wanting to just explore new territory of like, okay, and what would it be like to have a totally random hobby, like making pottery and, you know, going to this ceramic studio down the street and just doing that to do it, just to have the experience, just to be present with it, just to learn that skill, just to be creative in that way and not have it need to relate back to business. I'm kind of just getting curious about that. Now I'm feeling more motivated to actually do those things. So I've been giving myself permission to be whatever I am in the moment and to also lean into the edges and the parts of the spectrum, the parts of life, the parts of expression that I avidly was not dipping my toes in or indulging in the past. So yeah, overall, greater capacity to be my multidimensional self. So some of the new passions and hobbies that I am getting curious about exploring: making pottery, propagating plants. Like I have a lot of pothos, or I have a few pothos in my house that are just flourishing. Like I have two beside my bed over here, and they're just like, there's so much. And I have a friend who has been learning how to propagate them. And so I'm interested in that. Drawing again, spending more time in nature, the simple things. And there's also things that I'm really excited to learn about. Like right now I've been learning about cycle syncing. So syncing pretty much every aspect of my life with the different phases of my menstrual cycle. That has been fascinating to me. So we're branching out. This identity crisis has played a huge role in why I have not been uploading as much content and videos on YouTube. For sure, it's like one of the main things of, why I haven't been sharing as much and present as much on here. I have this aspect of me, this part of me that like I literally cannot create something, publish something if it is not coming from an authentic, inspired impulse to create and share. I know some people can just like, put it on their calendar, put it on their to-do list and just make it happen. I literally can't do it. Like things won't come out of me unless I'm in a place where something wants to be shared by me, through me. I have been honoring that over the years, and I have such an exhale right now because I really have rounded a corner over these last few months and feel ready to share my personal journey again, to express myself more, to re-engage in this relationship with you and our community here. And I feel so excited about it because it's been quite a while, which I know you know if you've been here for a while. You can definitely expect more videos, you can expect more consistency. finally, like I can say that with so much yes, confidence. That just is true. And I think there's been quite a bundle of moments in the past few years where I really wanted that to be so incredibly true, and I maybe felt a little bit of it, but then, would go back into that realm of confusion of, what is my sense of self? What is happening? What do I want to talk about? Do I even want to talk? Do I even have any opinions? Do I have thoughts on anything? I'm just resting in here present moment, and just all of that would kind of happen. And now I feel this balance is integrating of living and being in presence, connected in the present moment, feeling at ease, feeling grounded, and also engaging in the world, the human life, all of this, the practical. I would love to hear your thoughts, your experiences. If you have been going through something similar, I have found over the many years that we've been doing this YouTube thing that our community often has really similar parallels with the things that are happening in our lives, with the themes that we're working, that we're healing, the ways that we're growing, the things we're experiencing. That is all so wild and fascinating to me. And so I would love to hear, have you been going through something similar where what you thought you knew about yourself and about your life purpose and about everything is kind of in question and changing? I would love to know. Let me know in the comments down below. And if you have been experiencing something similar, if you would consider yourself to be going through somewhat of an identity crisis, it can be a lot. It can be really destabilizing and confusing and ungrounding, and it can cause a lot of anxiety and overthinking. If there's anything I can offer you, it would be to practice releasing that grip and coming back to this present moment, to your raw sensations within your body. What are you feeling? What are you noticing is happening here? We can spend so much time outward focusing on watching videos or scrolling or tuning into all these things, and it can be so helpful to come back here. So even in this moment, I invite you to find yourself, like as you're watching this video, as you're listening, find your own body. Take a breath. So coming back to this present moment, even through your 5 senses, what are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you smelling? What are you tasting? And just, this present moment. So that is one of the main things I would offer. And also staying connected with loved ones and community, especially those who have a really clear view of who you are, and a little bit less time with people who are holding you in a fixed view of a past version of yourself. That probably won't be so supportive as you are going on this journey of metamorphosis into something entirely new. It will be really supportive for people who can just be with you as you are now and be open to what you are discovering and how you're expressing yourself in a new way. My loves, this is gonna wrap up today's video. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. I'll do my best to read and respond to as many as I can. And I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye for now.